So, Abhishek, I was actually reading an interview of Sujoy, the director of Kahaani, who said that you were the original choice for Bob Biswas in the original film, but you had to let go of it due to date issues. Considering how the role turned out and how impactful it was, do you have any regrets about letting it go? And how did the spin-off come your way?
There's no way to answer this question without stepping on people's toes, but I'll try. Um, in all fairness and honesty, I didn't know that he was offering me the role of Bob Biswas in Kahaani. Yes, it's true. We had spoken, as we have been for the last 2 decades, about doing a film together. He had told me a plot line of a story idea that he had, which at that point I couldn't do because I was about to leave on an outdoor for a movie I did with Bachchan. And due to my unavailability, he went and made that film. That film happened to be Kahaani. I didn't know it was going to be Kahaani, and that the role he was offering me was the one that it turned out to be of Bob Biswas. And no, I'm not somebody who believes in regrets. You get what you deserve, and there's you can't live your life in regret and looking over your shoulder behind you all the time. I'm very happy that he decided to revisit the script of Bob Biswas and wrote the film that he did, and that he, handed over the reins to Dia, his unbelievably able and accomplished daughter of just 26 years old. And I was more than happy when he came to me because it was a great role. I don't know any actor who'd probably say no to a role like this. It's a wonderful, wonderful role. And I'm just happy that they thought me fit enough to do it.
We've just seen the release of Bunty or Bubbly 2, and a lot of people feel that nobody can do justice to Bunty as well as you. And similarly, a lot of people feel that, Saswata was very impactful in his role as Bob in Kahaani. What are your thoughts on taking up a character that's already made popular by another actor?
It's immaterial what I think. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the audience that goes and watches the film is going to decide whether they like the film or not. Contrary to what we actors like to believe, it isn't all about us. It's about the film. I would just say, give the film a fair chance. Go watch the film. If you enjoy the film, you get your answer right there. I would, like I said, I could have turned around and asked you, what do you feel? What is your opinion? But the point is, it's unfair to ask you that question because you haven't seen the film. See the film, then we can have this discussion and maybe answer it. I think it's only fair that the audience decides because they're the ultimate at the end of the day. It's premature to take any decisions or form opinions or pass judgment just based on a trailer.
Chitrangda, this film is, of course, about Bob Biswas and his backstory. What role does your character have to play in his journey?
She is playing the wife of, she's Bob's wife in the film. And they have 2 kids together. So, yeah, she's wife. So she's running the house while he was in coma and everything. And this is what he comes back to. So she's probably his connection to anything which was normal, anything which was, I guess, good in his life, anything that he would want to fight for or want to live for in a way, so to speak. So there is that kind of, how do you say, like I've been saying, the goodness in his life is this is what he wants. And for that, he'd want to give up a lot. In fact, everything, and change the man, literally the man that he was, to what he sees Mary when he looks at him, that's the man that he wants to be, what she sees in him. So somewhere that's the predicament that she's offering in the film. And that this is beautiful relationship between the 2 of them, which is kind of very tender, and this is what he wants to save, from everything bad that he knows and he's done in his life, which is what this is. Yeah.
There's a line in the trailer that goes something along the lines of "ऐसी बीवी को कौन ही भूल सकता है." Many of your contemporaries have talked about how sometimes they're considered too pretty for a role. Do you think the way you look has ever come in the way of a role that you've
Wait,
liked?
what? Some people have said people think we're too pretty for a role.
Yes.
Who has said this?
Kriti Sanon has said it, Dia Mirza has said it. A lot of actors have said that they've been considered too pretty for certain roles. So I wanted to know if Chitrangda, that's
No,
ever what
nobody
you
says that. No, I mean, see, I'll tell you what. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I understand what probably Kriti was saying, because sometimes the roles are written where the physicality definitely is extremely important, right? I mean, अगर आप एक village की कहानी कह रहे हैं, या फिर आप एक certain you know I mean, एक certain society की कहानी कह रहे हैं, so to speak, या background की कहानी कह रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपकी physicality उससे कुछ हद तक मैच करनी चाहिए, या फिर आप एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मैनेज कर पाए, एटलीस्ट उस हद तक आप पहुंच सकें कि एक बिलीवेबिलिटी चाहिए, यू नो, बिकॉज इट्स सच अ विजुअल मीडियम दैट जो आपका फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन होता है एक ऑडियंस का, वो आपकी फिजिकलिटी का होता है, उसके बाद फिर आपका चलना, आपका बोलना, वो सब मैटर करता है. लेकिन आई नो आप क्या कह रहे हैं. आई मीन, नोबडी सेड दैट टू माय फेस, बट आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं.
But that was the requirement of the role, no, Chitrangada? I mean, that was a clear brief. That
yeah, I know. What I
unfortunately,
understood,
as per societal norms, and which is so wrong, but people actually question that what is somebody so beautiful doing with a guy like this? And the summation of that is nice, because you realize that it's his heart that she likes. He's a genuinely a very nice person, and I think that
correct.
was always the requirement of the role. So I don't think that has
Yeah.
any bearing on our film in that sense.
No, I thought you were making a general question
Yes,
about
I
has
was.
it, is that what you, okay. No, so okay, so I was just answering in a very general way कि कभी ना कभी ऐसा definitely हो सकता है, क्योंकि आप 50% of the character, या at least 30% of the character तो आपको physically match करना चाहिए कहीं ना कहीं, उसके बाद फिर आप उस पर काम कर सकते हैं और बाकी चीजें. So yeah, I don't know, but now that you're putting it like that, I hope it's not the case. I don't know. If it is, it is, jo hai wo hai. Yeah.
Speaking of the physicality of the role, Abhishek, you had to put on weight, I believe, for Bob Biswas. You've undergone a sort of physical transformation. You've also, I believe, you had to get the Bengali mannerisms right. Did you take any help from your mother? Can you tell me a little bit about the process?
Bengali mannerisms, what are those?
Getting the accent right and all of that.
No, we stayed away from an accent, actually, ma'am. Sujoy was very, very clear that in his writing as well, just because you're from Kolkata, that doesn't mean you have to sound Bengali all the time. I'm from Mumbai. I don't sound Marathi. We were very clear that we want to stay away from that, barring one phrase, which is kind of like Istakya Kalam, which only basically comes once in the film, which is Namaskar. And that's it. So we stayed very clear away from it. Even Chitrangada's character of Mary, to our children in the film. So there's no attempt for an accent or any such thing. Kolkata is a character in the film, which is the backdrop and the setting of our story. And that's it.
There's been a huge halt in the production. There's been, because of the COVID lockdown, of course. So was it difficult for you as actors to sort of pick up from where you left off?
Yes and no. I think everybody was relieved to be back on set and be working again. I mean, I had already begun working before that, because I got stuck in two films. One was Big Bull, so I had to finish Big Bull. And then we had to wait almost 9 to 10 months before we could resume shooting. We had completed about 80% of the film before the lockdown was announced, and then we came back in December to finish it. For me, the biggest challenge was, I think, keeping the weight on. I found that very, very cumbersome and very difficult. I put on a crazy amount of weight. I'd become, I think, between 100 and 105 kilos for the film. And it was very uncomfortable to keep on throughout the lockdown. Especially, we have to understand, during the lockdown, you're leading a very enclosed life. You can't move around too much. So having that kind of weight, which your body is not used to, is very, very difficult. Yeah. Very, very difficult. It was very challenging. And trying to maintain that weight is something I tried as much as I could. I couldn't wait to get it off, because like I said, it's nice for that brief period of this 2-3 months of principal photography, but then we got stuck. So I couldn't lose it and then put it back on again, because that would be crazy. So to try and maintaining it, that was the most difficult part. As far as the performances are concerned, I think we were all okay, because whatever rushes we had shot, we saw that just to get back into it. And once it was the last thing we shot for most of us before the lockdown, so it was pretty fresh in that sense.
Right.
I don't know, was it the same for you, Chitrangda?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there really wasn't so much for me to anyway work on, as compared to what Bob his character had to. So yeah, not really.
I just saw Amitabh Sir's tweet praising you after the trailer of Bob Biswas came out. What's the reaction been of your other family members to your performance, to the trailer? Have they, I don't know if they've seen the film yet. Have they?
No, they haven't seen the film. I haven't seen the film. Sujoy and Dia refused to show it to me so far. They're still working on completing it. So I haven't seen it. No, they haven't seen it yet.
What's their reaction to the trailer been?
Well, the ladies of the house are very reserved with their comment, because they don't want to say anything and then it not come true. So they like to keep quiet till the film comes out. So yeah, but so far, I still get food when I go home. I haven't been thrown out, so I presume it's okay.
What's your daughter's reaction been to seeing you as a killing machine?
Well, I mean, she's seen me throughout the making of the film, right? So nothing adverse that way. She found it quite cute, actually. I mean, she doesn't really know what Bob does, so so yeah.
Right. Kahaani was a huge box office success. It got a lot of critical acclaim as well. Bob Biswas is releasing digitally. Do you both have any regrets that it couldn't, especially now that theaters have reopened, that it couldn't get a big screen release?
Well, it was always envisioned as a theatrical release, and we're all, I mean, both Chitrangda and I at least have had all our experience on screen. And obviously you'd love to see it on screen, but the circumstances are what they are. There's also something else that you have to consider, that there is a huge business side to it that comes into play. We're talking about a film which already had to wait for 10 months, and the producer had to foot that bill, and if you see, OTT platforms have come as a huge parachute and respite to the film industry and to the content creators, because they've provided a livelihood throughout the lockdown. Having said that, I do believe that there are different kinds of films. I'm not talking about shows now, because that's a different discipline altogether. But I believe personally that there are different kinds of films that can now release in theaters, and there are different kinds of films that can release on OTT platforms. There's a different requirement of those films. To get people to go to a theater today, I believe there's a lot more than just a great story and a good film. There's a lot more that's going to go into to lure them out of the safety of their homes to go and watch it in the theater. And there's a different requirement for direct to OTT release, where the concentration and the magnifying glass is purely on your content, and you can't slip up even that 1 second. You can't bore them for more than a minute, because if it's more than a minute, I believe they press that button, they're out of there, they're gone. In a movie theater, if it's a minute, they're not going to get up and walk out. They'll say, okay, I'll just space out and sit in AC for the rest of the movie. Having said that, I think Bob Biswas is very uniquely placed, because I think it was written for the big screen, but it seamlessly and perfectly fits into the OTT space and the kind of content that's being consumed on OTT. And I think the subject matter, the approach, the execution is something that seamlessly fits perfectly as a glove in the OTT space. So I think we've all, been very lucky to get an opportunity to collaborate with Z5, and for Z5 to give us such a big platform. To have their loyal audience come and give them a film like Bob Biswas is something that excites me. Their penetration is huge. The kind of numbers they have is huge. So I don't think it's not a balancing thing. It's either or. And I think they both have their pros. like I said, yes, the film was envisioned as a theatrical film, but I think we're doing a huge service to Sujoy and Dia's story and film by providing it on Z5 as a platform, because it's exactly the kind of content that OTT is consuming right now.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely talking to
No,
you.
thank you.
All the
Good luck.
best for your film.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed
Thank
the
you very
film.
much.